I come to the group of 30 verses. Subha, Jiva, Kamba, Vanika, 366. A rogue stopped the nun, Subha. This is another one very interesting. A rogue stopped the nun, Subha, as she was going to the delightful Jiva Kamba wood. Subha said this to him: "What wrong has been done to you by me, that you stand obstructing me? For it is not fitting, sir, that a man should touch a woman who has gone forth. Which training was taught by the well-farer in my teacher's severe teaching. Why do you stand obstructing me, who am possessing the purified state without blemish?" 269. Why do you, with disturbed mind and with passion, stand obstructing me, who am undisturbed, with passion departed, without blemish, with mind completely released in every respect? And this young man said, 370. You are young and not ugly. What will going forth do for you? Throw away your yellow robe. Come, let us delight in the flowery wood. 371. The towering trees send forth a sweet smell in all directions with the pollen of flowers. The beginning of spring is a happy season. Come, let us delight in the flowery wood. 372. At the same time, the trees with blossoming crests cry out, as it were, when shaken by the wind. What delight will there be for you if you plunge alone into the wood? 373. You wish to go without companion to the lonely, frightening great wood, frequented by birds, by herds of beasts of prey, disturbed by cow elephants, who are excited by bull elephants. 374. You will go about like a doll made of gold, like an achara in Chittarata, O incomparable one. You will shine with beautiful garments of fine muslin, with excellent clothes. 375. I should be under your command if we were to dwell inside the grove, for there is no creature dearer to me than you, O Kinari Devi, with pleasant eyes. 376. If you will do my bidding, being made happy, come, inhabit a home. You will be dwelling in the calm of a palace. Let women do attendance upon you. 377. Wear garments of fine muslin, put on garlands and unguents. I shall make much varied adornment for you, of gold, jewels, and pearls. 378. Climb onto a bed with a coverlet well washed of dirt, beautiful, spread with a woolen quilt, new, very costly, decorated with sandalwood, having an excellent smell. 379. Just as a blue lotus with beautiful blossoms rising up from the water is resorted to by non-men or non-humans, so you, O liver of the holy life, will go to old age with your limbs your own, untouched by a man. And Subha says, 380. What is approved of as essence by you here in the body, which is full of corpses, filling the cemetery of a breaking nature, which essence, having seen, you look at me being out of your mind? And he said, 381, your eyes are indeed like those of Turi, like those of a Kinari inside a mountain. Having seen your eyes, my delight in sensual pleasures increases more. 382. Having seen your eyes in your face, to be compared with the bud of a blue lotus, spotless like gold, my strand of sensual pleasures increases more. 383. Even though you have gone far away, I shall remember you, O one of the long eyelashes, O one of the pure gaze, for no eyes are dearer to me than you, O Kinari Devi with pleasant eyes. And Subha said, 384. You wish to go by the wrong path. You seek the moon as a plaything. You wish to jump over Mount Meru. You who pursue a child of the Buddha. 385. For there would not now be anywhere in the world, together with the Devas, any object of desire for me. I do not even know what sort it is, but it has been smitten root and all by the eightfold path. 386. It has been scattered as though sparks from a pit of burning coals. It has been considered as regards value, like a bowl of poison. I do not even see what sort it is, but it has been smitten root and all by the eightfold path. 387. by whom this may not have been observed, or by whom the teacher may not have been served, try to seduce such a one. But having seduced this one who knows, you will suffer distress. 388. For my mindfulness is established in the midst of both reviling and praise, happiness and pain. Knowing that conditioned things are disgusting, my mind does not cling to anything at all. 389. I am a disciple of the well-farer, travelling in the eightfold vehicle, which is the path. My dart drawn out, without asavas, having gone to an empty hut, I rejoice. 390. For well-painted puppets or dolls have been seen by me, fastened by strings and sticks, made to dance in various ways. 391. These strings and sticks having been removed, thrown away, mutilated, scattered, not to be found, broken into pieces, of what there would one fix the mind. 392. This little body, made being of such a kind, does not exist without these phenomena, as it does not exist without phenomena. On what there would one fix one's mind? 393. Just as you have seen a picture made on a wall, smeared with yellow or pigment, on that your gaze has been confused, so the wisdom of men is useless. 394. O blind one, you run after an empty thing, like an illusion placed in front of you, like a golden tree at the end of a dream, like a puppet show in the midst of the people. 395. An eye is like a little ball set in a hollow, having a bubble in the middle with tears. Eye secretion too occurs here. Various sorts of eyes are rolled into balls. 396. Removing it, the good-looking lady, having an unattached mind, was not attached to it. And she said, "Come, take this eye for yourself." Straight away she gave it to this man. 397. And straight away his passion ceased there, and he begged her pardon. Become whole again, liver of the good life. Such a thing will not happen again. Having smitten such a person, having as it were embraced a blazing fire, I have seized a poisonous snake as it were. Become whole again, forgive me. 399. And then that nun, released, went to the presence of the excellent Buddha. Having seen the one possessing the marks of excellent merit, her eye was as before. So this man, infatuated with this beautiful Suba, stopped her, probably nobody around, he might even rape her. So she asked her, "What do you find so attractive in me?" And he said, "The eyes." So she just plucked out her eye and gave it to him. A group of 40 verses, Isi Dasi. It's a very interesting verses that we're going to read now. 400. In the flower-named city, Pataliputta, in the best part of the earth, there were 2 nuns, members of the Sakyan clan, possessed of good qualities. 401. One of them called Isidasi, the second called Bodhi, both possessed of virtue, delighting in meditation and study, having great learning, with defilements shaken off. 402. They, having wandered for alms, having made their meal with washed bowls, seated happily in a lonely place, uttered these words. So these 2 nuns are with defilements shaken off, they are arahants. And Bodhi said to this Isidasi, 403, "You are lovely, noble Isidasi. Your youth has not yet faded. Having seen what fault in the household life, are you then intent on renunciation of the world?" 404. Thus being asked, Isidasi in the lonely place, proficient in the teaching of the Dhamma, spoke this utterance. "Hear, Bodhi, how I went forth." 405. In Ujjaini, best of cities, my father was a merchant, restrained by virtuous conduct. I was his only daughter, dear and charming and beloved. 406. Then from Saketa came men belonging to a most noble family to woo me. A merchant with many jewels sent them. To him my father gave me as a daughter-in-law. 407. Approaching morning and evening, I did obeisance with my head to my father-in-law and mother-in-law. I paid homage to their feet as I had been instructed. 408. Having seen my husband's sisters, or his brothers, or his retinue, even my one and only beloved husband, I trembled and gave them a seat. 409. With food and drink and hard food, and what was stored there, I gratified them. I brought it forth and gave what was fitting to each. 410. Arising in good time, that means early, I approached my Lord's house. Having washed my hands and feet, upon the threshold I approached my husband with cupped hands. 411. Taking a comb, decorations, collyrium, and a mirror, I myself adorned my Lord like a servant girl. 412. I myself prepared the rice gruel. I myself washed the bowl. As a mother, her only son, I looked after my husband. 413. My husband offended against me, who in this way had shown him devotion, an affectionate servant with humble pride, an early riser, not lazy, virtuous. 414. He said to his mother and father, having taken leave, I shall go. I shall not be able to live together with Isidasi in one house. 415. And the parents said, do not speak thus, son. Isidasi is learned, clever, an early riser, not lazy. Why does she not please you, son? And he said, 416, she does me no harm, but I shall not live with Isidasi. To me, she is just odious. I have had enough. Having taken leave, I shall go. 417. Hearing his utterance, my father-in-law and mother-in-law asked me, what offense has been committed by you? Speak confidently how it really was. And she said, I have not offended at all. I have not harmed him. I have not said any evil utterance. What can be done when my husband hates me? 419. Downcast, overcome by pain, they led me back to my father's house, saying, while keeping our son safe, we have lost the goddess of beauty incarnate. 420. Then my father gave me to a household of a second rich man belonging to a noble family for half the bright price for which the merchant had taken me. 421. In his house too I lived a month. Then he too rejected me, although I served him like a slave girl, not harming him, possessed of virtue. 422. And my father spoke to one wandering for alms, a tamer of others and self-tame. Be my son-in-law, throw down your cloth and pot. In other words, the father gave her to ascetic renunciant. 423. He too, having lived with me for a fortnight, then said to my father, give me my cloth and pot and cup back. I shall beg for alms again. 424. Then my father, mother, and all the group of my relatives said to him, what has not been done for you here? Say quickly what may be done for you. 425. Thus spoken to, he said, even if I myself were honored, I have had enough. I shall not be able to live together with Isidasi in one house. 426. Allowed to go, he departed. I, for my part, all alone, thought, having asked leave, I shall go to die, or I shall go forth as a wanderer. 427. Then the noble lady, Jinadatta, expert in the discipline of Vinaya, having great learning, possessed of virtue, on her begging round, came to my father's house. 428. Seeing her in our house, rising up from my seat, I offered it to her. Having paid homage to her feet, when she had sat down, I gave her food. 429. Having completely satisfied her with food and drink, and hard food and what was stored there, I said, noble lady, I wish to go forth. 430. Then my father said to me, practice the Dhamma in this very place, child, with food and drink, satisfy ascetics and twice-born Brahmins. Stop here for a moment. These twice-born Brahmins, it's first time when they are born as a human being, second time probably when they go forth. 431. Then I said to my father, lamenting, having cupped my hands, evil indeed was the action done by me. It was a karma done by me. I shall destroy it. 432. Then my father said to me, attain enlightenment and the foremost Dhamma, and obtained quenching, which the best of men realized. 433. Having saluted my mother and father and all the group of my relatives, when I had gone forth for 7 days, I attained the 3 knowledges. 434. I know my last 7 births. I shall relate to you the action of which this is the fruit and result. Listen to it with attentive mind. 435. In the city of Erakacha, I was a goldsmith, possessing much wealth. Intoxicated by pride in my youth, I had sexual intercourse with another's wife. 436. I, having fallen from there, was cooked in hell. I cooked for a long time, and rising up from there, I entered the womb of a female monkey. 437. A great monkey, leader of the herd, castrated me when I was 7 days old. This was the fruit of that action for that same me, because of having seduced another's wife. 438. I, having fallen from there, having died in the Sindava forest, entered the womb of a one-eyed, lame she-goat. 439. Castrated, having carried children around for 12 years, I was worm-eaten, tailless, unfit, because of having seduced another's wife. 440. I, having fallen from there, was born in a cow belonging to a cattle dealer, a lank red calf, castrated for 12 months. Having drawn a great plough, I pulled a cart, blind, tailless, unfit, because of having seduced another's wife. 442. I, having fallen from there, was born of a household slave in the street, as neither a woman nor a man, because of having seduced another's wife. It's bisexual. 443. In my 30th year I died. I was born as a girl in a carter's family, which was poor, with little wealth, much oppressed by creditors. 444. Then, because of the large amount of interest which had accumulated, a caravan leader dragged me off wailing, having removed me from the family house. So large amount of interest. It must be a along during the that time. 445. Then in my 16th year, his son, Giridasa by name, having seen me as a maiden arrived at youth, took me as his wife. 446. He had another wife, virtuous, possessed of good qualities, and famous, affectionate towards her husband. With her I stirred up enmity. 447. This was the fruit of that action from that same me, that they went rejecting me, although serving like a slave girl. Even of that, an end has now been made by me. So this verses here is very interesting, because you can see because of breaking the 3rd precept, sexual misconduct, he went to hell first, and coming up, he was born several times as an animal, and even as an animal, he was castrated so many times as a result of sexual misconduct, and not only castrated, also born very weak, no tail, worm-eaten, unfit, and then in the previous last life, she was born as this girl, and became the second wife, and because of jealousy, she was always stirring up trouble with the first wife, who was a very virtuous person, and make herself very make people hate her, even in that lifetime. And that karma, you see, carried for so long. Even now, she's this last life given away in marriage to a few men or so. Even though she's so beautiful and so good and all that, they just hate her. They don't know why they hate her, but they just cannot tolerate her. The karma is so strong. Good lesson. So people who like to make trouble, have to remember this. Now a great group of verses. Sumedha, 448. In the city of Mantavati there was Sumedha, a daughter of King Koncha's chief queen. She was converted by those who comply with the teaching. I mean, she was a princess. 449. Virtuous, a brilliant speaker, having great learning, trained in the Buddha's teaching. Going up to her mother and father, she said, "Listen, both of you." 450. "I delight in quenching. Existence is non-eternal. Even if it is as a deva, how much more are empty sensual pleasures, giving little enjoyment and much distress." 251. Sensual pleasures in which fools are bemused are bitter, like a snake's poison. Consigned to hell for a long time, they are beaten, pain. 452. Because of evil action, they grieve in a downward destination, being evil-minded, without faith. Fools are unrestrained in body, speech and mind. 453. Those fools, unwise, senseless, hindered by the uprising of pain, not knowing, do not understand the noble truths when someone is teaching them. 454. They, the majority, not knowing the truths taught by the excellent Buddha, rejoice in existence. They long for rebirth among the devas. 455. Even rebirth among the devas is non-eternal. It is in the impermanent existence, but fools are not afraid of being reborn again and again. 456. 4 downward destinations and 2 upward destinations are obtained somehow or other. But for those who have gone to a downward destination, there is no going forth in the hells. Stop here for a moment. So you can see when they talk about the 4 downward destinations, the 4 woeful plains, it shows this has been tampered with later. And then 457. Permit me, both of you, mother and father, to go forth in the teaching of the 10 powered ones. Having little greed, I shall strive for the elimination of birth and death. These 10 powered ones could be possessing the Noble Eightfold Path, plus 2 more is liberation and knowledge and vision of liberation. 458. What have I to do with existence, with delight, with this unsubstantial verse of bodies? For the sake of the cessation of craving for existence, permit me, I shall go forth. 459. There is a rising of Buddhas. The inopportune moment has been avoided. The opportune moment has been seized. As long as life lasts, I would not infringe the rules of virtuous conduct and the living of the holy life. 460. So Sumedha speaks to her mother and father. Meanwhile, I shall not take food as a householder. If I do not go forth, I shall indeed have gone into the influence of death. 461. Pain, her mother laments, and her father, smitten by grief, strives to reconcile her as she lies fallen to the ground on the roof of the palace. 462. Stand up, child. What do you want with grieving? You are bestowed. In Varanavati is King Anikarata, who is handsome. You are bestowed upon him. That means it's given to this king to marry. 463. You will be the chief queen, the wife of King Anikarata. The rules of virtuous conduct, the living of the holy life, going forth are difficult to perform, child. 464. In kingship, there are giving of orders, wealth, authority, happy enjoyments. You are young. Enjoy the enjoyments of sensual pleasures. Let your marriage take place, child. 465. Then Sumedha spoke to them. May such things not be. Existence is unsubstantial. Either there will be a going forth for me or death, not marriage. Why should I cling to this foul body, impure, smelling of urine, a frightful water bag of corpses, always flowing, full of impure things? 467. What do I know it to be like? A body is repulsive, smeared with flesh and blood, food for worms, vultures and other birds. Why is it given to us? The body is soon carried out to the cemetery, devoid of consciousness. It is thrown away like a log by disgusted relatives. 469. Having thrown it away in the cemetery as food for others, one's own mother and father wash themselves, disgusted. How much more do common people? 470. They are attached to the unsubstantial body, an aggregate of bones and sinews, to the foul body, full of saliva, tears, excrement and urine. 471. If anyone, dissecting it, were to make the inside outside, that is, turn it inside out, even one's own mother, being unable to bear the smell of it, would be disgusted. 472. Reflecting in a reasoned manner that the elements of existence, the elements, the sense bases, are compounded, having rebirth as their root, and painful. Why should I wish for marriage? 373. Let 300 newly sharpened swords fall on my body every day. Even if the striking lasted 100 years, it would be better if thus there were destruction of pain. 474. He should submit to this striking, who thus knows the teacher's utterance. Journeying on is long for you, being killed again and again. 475. Among devas and among men, in the womb of animals and in the body of an asura, among Petas and in hells, unlimited strikings are seen. 476. There are many strikings in hell for a defiled one who has gone to a downward destination. Even among the devas there is no protection. There is nothing superior to the happiness of quenching. 477. Those who are intent upon the teaching of the 10-powered one have attained quenching. Having little greed, they strive for the elimination of birth and death. 478. This very day, Father, I shall renounce the world. What have I to do with unsubstantial enjoyments? I am disgusted with sensual pleasures. They are like vomit, made groundless like a palm tree. 479. Thus she spoke to her father, and at the same time Anikarata, to whom she was betrothed, surrounded by young men, came to the marriage at the appointed time. 480. Then Sumedha, having cut her black, thick, soft hair with a knife, having closed the palace door, entered on the first meditation, or the first jhana. 481. Just as she entered on it, Anikarata arrived at the city. In that very palace, Sumedha developed the notion of impermanence. 482. Just as she was pondering, Anikarata mounted the palace quickly. With his body adorned with jewels and gold, with cupped hands, he begged Sumedha. 483. In kingship, there are giving of orders, wealth, authority, happy enjoyments. You are young. Enjoy the enjoyments of sensual pleasures. Happiness from sensual pleasures are hard to obtain in the world. My kingship has been bestowed upon you. Enjoy enjoyments, give gifts, do not be depressed. Your mother and father are pained. 485. Then Sumedha, not being concerned with sensual pleasures, being without delusion, said this: Do not rejoice in sensual pleasures. See the peril in sensual pleasures. 486. Mandatta, king of the 4 continents, was the foremost of those having enjoyment of sensual pleasures. He died unsatisfied, nor were his wishes fulfilled.